beloved hearts of love. Father Asun of the great central sun greets you this day, and I am truly grateful for this opportunity to be with you. Today, I ponder the true magnificence of who each of you truly are. As we know of your authentic spiritual nature that abides within your beingness, your inner consciousness, today I unite with you in honoring the truth that each of you are as individualizations, precious replications of infinite beings of consciousness, endowed with mind, heart, spirit, soul, consciousness itself, with the wondrous abilities to think, to feel, to see, to taste, to sense, and more. Today I ponder with you that for each of you, the awareness that your consciousness streams in and through and as you from the greater, the universal consciousness of the Divine Father, the Divine Mother, or the divine mind and heart of the universe itself. You are awakening. A great awakening is taking place amongst the people of the earth. Awakening is such a magnificent activity. And when we say yes to ongoing awakening, there is so much to discover, to awaken to, and in discovering the greater and wondrous creative powers that have long been latent within our consciousness, a path is before us to find all means and ways to harness inherent creative powers that have not yet found their way into full glorious expression through human beings on earth. Awakening is the most magnificent activity. And as you continue to awaken, recognizing that you place yourselves upon a path of discovery and begin to discover there are mighty qualities that have been hidden or not active within the daily consciousness that have always been there, always waiting to be discovered, to be harnessed, to come forth into full expression through the lives that you have been given. It is my and Mother Akasha's full dedication to assist each of you, to be, to become, and ever evolve as the glorious individualizations, the glorious replications of Mother, Father, God, and all that that means. Once we become aware in our spiritual paths, our path of discovery, and we become aware of latent qualities and creative powers, we begin a process, learning of them, and then accepting those mighty attributes and welcome those powers to fully emerge, then our lives become much more fulfilling, happier, and healthier. Precious hearts, education in the outer world, religious or otherwise, has not yet revealed some of these inherent creative powers of consciousness that stream through us, to us, from the universal consciousness. Powers that become active once we are aware of them, accept them, invite them into greater expression in our lives. Once we become aware of them, placing our attention upon these creative powers in our contemplations, meditations, and prayers. Beloved Jesus the Christ, how glorious He is. Recently released 9 sacred letters to the people of earth. Most, unfortunately, have not found them yet. Yet they are there, and within those sacred letters of Jesus the Christ, He reveals the purpose of existence. He reveals the inherent nature of universal loving and intelligent creative mind and power within the universe and all life. Powers that are inevitable principles of creation, are laws and characteristics of the creative power itself and universal consciousness of divine mind that has always been there, waiting greater expression through every and each individualization, such as who you are. The first innate creative power within each one's consciousness is the creative power and force of growth and expansion. For this reason, it is so important to consciously seek to fully awaken to these greater powers that have long been latent within your consciousness, your inner beingness, latent but not lost. Powers waiting for us to become aware of. Powers of creation waiting to come to the surface of your consciousness, where in discovering them, you can begin to acknowledge and use the thinking and feeling side of life with a new wave of enthusiasm and determination to resurrect those qualities fully expressive as they were intended to be in the lives that you all have been given. Growth and expansion is just the first of several creative powers that are latent and non-expressive in most of humankind. Yet before I speak into this any further, let us realize that doubt and fear are roadblocks to these mighty creative powers becoming active in our lives, creative powers that assist us to become less limited and less touched and less influenced by all the seeming destructive powers in the outer world. My twin flame, Mother Akasha, said recently, with all the storms of tribulation that has begun in the outer world, how much more important, beloved heart, that each of you, that you take this time to cultivate your own inner world, to realize each of you, as you take more care of your inner worlds and personal worlds, that eventually you become a greater sun's presence of more light, more love, more joy, happiness, and health. If you are going to influence what is going on in the outer world, then first, looking after your own personal worlds, looking after what is taking place in your minds, your feelings, your bodies, becomes vitally important. In this time in which there are many storms in the world and people are being compelled to or asked to stay home, lose not this opportunity. I encourage you, this whole idea of busyness. Exactly how busy are you? Are you keeping yourself so busy that you don't have time to contemplate, to consider this precious life each of you have been given? While storms gather in the outer world, you are so important, precious heart. Your life, a gift to you, and so important to look after that life and to strengthen your life and to not allow your life energies be drained by placing too much attention on all the troubles of the outer world. As we understand that fear and doubt limits our capacity to live our best side, to live our best angel, we can then, with that understanding, engage a process of empowering our lives, empowering our spiritual capacity, where soon revelations of the innate creative powers within your own consciousness can begin to express. This process of discovering and empowering, this process we advance, beloved hearts. If each of us charts a course of forgiveness of ourselves and all others, realizing that everyone makes mistakes in the human world, and the undoing of the often psychological and deep damage of mistakes, judgment, fear, and criticism becomes a means of lessening the fear that can get hold of your lives. As we chart a course of forgiveness of ourselves and all others and all wrong conditions in the outer world, that course of forgiveness becomes our means of redemption, our means of undoing the often psychological and deep damage that is done to ourselves when there is none forgiveness of mistakes and judgment, fear and criticism. So forgiveness of self and others is a powerful beginning as we all chart and continue our course of awakening and discover, what does it mean that we all have a best angel? Choosing to empty oneself of all unkind thoughts and emotions against self and others. This choosing to empty ourselves through forgiveness creates redemption, creates new spaces in us, spaces where then great revelations of truth and creative powers latent within our consciousness can begin greater expressions in the life that we have been given. Forgiveness opens the way for each person to redeem themselves from some of the natural laws of the universe. Laws of, as we sow, we reap. Laws of karmic reaction. Laws of attraction and repulsion. Laws that are as natural as the universe itself. Yet laws that too often are drawing to you negative or limiting outcomes when we have previously set into motion negative activities or thoughts, feelings, and deeds unto others. With forgiveness in hand, we then empty ourselves of negatively emotional charges towards people and activities in the outer world. We chart a course of looking after our own personal and inner worlds. You will find, precious hearts, that once you determine the place that you choose to live your life out from, through new decisions and choice making, and you are willing to look at what is most important to you, what do you value the most? What are your values? And once you have determined and begun to express those values, allowing them to creatively color the portrait of your personalities, this too decreases fear and doubt. Please, precious heart, recognize there are many latent creative powers in your consciousness. However, they are not coming forth into greater expression in your lives because too many people are holding on to sour emotions of doubt and fear and then amplify those sour emotions by engaging in criticism and and gossip and sending forth negative thoughts and feelings to others. So I urge you, all of you have lived many times in the world, and your own life seeks the best of you, your better angel, to come forth in these days while there is seeming madness in the world. So I, Father Asun, I urge you to practice forgiveness of yourself and others, forgiveness of destructive conditions in the outer world. And then take time, precious heart, to look after your own personal world. Focus through your mind and hearts as to what is most important to you. And if not done already, take time to identify your values. And this includes what might become new values that you choose for yourself that you may not have thought about before. For example, if you truly value peace of mind, feelings of inner joy and essential harmlessness, if you value your life force not being drained from your bodies due to undue attention upon world problems, then you will value more what you allow yourself to place your attention upon. As you choose to value care and understanding, value unity and kindness to self and others, and you begin to live these values. All of this, as this process unfolds and grows within you, then forgiveness is a natural part of living, of life. Then your own inner life will open more. You will be drawn through divine circumstance. You will be drawn to the perfect teachers, coaches, sources of inspiration, books, and more, music, artistry, that will lead you gently upon a path of greater self-awareness, a path of wondrous self-discovery. It is wonderful, beloved heart, to know that each of you has a better angel. Life asks you, will you express the worst that humans sometimes express? Or will you express the better angel side of you? But what is this better angel side of you? Are they just words? Is it just a phrase? An expression? For it's not just what makes you a kind and caring person. Sure, that's part of it. But there's much, much more. Expressing the better angel side of you. And that more is found in discovering more of the spiritual truth of who you are and the many spiritual powers latent within your inner being and consciousness that have always been there. They've always been there. However, there has not been a mental, emotional, or spiritual environment developed enough or friendly enough for these mighty spiritual creative powers to be discovered and harnessed into full, glorious expression. Now, beloved hearts, in the Radiant Rose Academy, we are holding a workshop on February 6th and 7th. And it's all about the attributes or creative powers that are latent within each person's consciousness, and how to tap into those inner powers, how to bring them to the surface into full glorious expression in our lives. This weekend is available to anyone with an internet access, and it will be a Zoom event, and one can register and pay for Zoom participation via the Radiant Rose Academy website. We are forever grateful for Jesus the Christ coming forth and revealing 9 of the mighty and major creative powers of life, the inherent of a loving universal consciousness, out of which streams your individualized consciousness, has always included principles of creation and laws and characteristics of creative power itself. And all of this has been latent within people's consciousness, latent yet not lost. Of the 9 creative powers introduced by Jesus the Christ, the first is growth and expansion. The second is nutrition and nourishment. The third is the creative power of healing, the great perfecting activity. The fourth is the great creative power of protection. The fifth is the great creative power of fulfillment of need and necessity. The sixth is the great creative power of God work, such as the great lab within your physical bodies, where the work of molecular and cellular activity is ongoing every day in your life. The seventh is the creative power of survival, where no matter how many lives you live, you always live again. Your spirit, your soul, your flame lives on. And again and again and again gives you opportunity for life. The eighth creative power within universal consciousness is rhythm, the sacred rhythm of life. Rhythm that begins with your breath, the in-breath, the out-breath. Rhythm that is found in the natural seasons of a year. Rhythm that can be observed in the growth and expansion of all the kingdoms of life on earth. And the ninth creative power is a spiritual law and order that recognizes the laws of sowing and reaping. And it is here, precious hearts, where you will so advance yourselves. Make sure that you are empty of all former religious belief in a punishing God, belief in a punishing Father. Oh, precious hearts, those religious beliefs, they are a lie. The universal Father and Mother are endless perfection of light and love, always seeking to stream their presence through the universal consciousness and then streaming that through your own consciousness, that you may embody, that you may be the only begotten to embody those creative powers and principles in your life. When the first principle of creative power becomes active within your lives, beloved hearts, that being growth and expansion, it offers each of you the ability to make wonderful, free, life-freeing new choices, choices that are followed by experience of changes. That's growth and expansion, a natural law of your beingness. And to know that every day we can become more, every day opportunities for growth and expansion as we recognize, accept, invoke, meditate, and pray on the full active creative power of growth and expansion. Come alive, fully awakened, expressing in our lives. Then, beloved hearts, we come to love with ease. Our ability to keep shifting and growing and changing in wondrous and delightful and fulfilling ways. Yet I say again, how can you accept a truth? As I say unto you, the Heavenly Father abides within you, that you live and have your being in the universal Father and Mother, and that we, the universal Father and Mother, have our being in you. How could you accept such a truth? And it is the truth. But how could you possibly, emotionally, psychologically, even accept that truth if there is even a morsel of believing in a universal punishing God? Yes, there are often unfortunate manifestations and circumstances that take place in the lives of the people. And perhaps religious people will say, well, that's the hand of God. That's retribution. And that is nonsense. It is nothing more than the natural universal laws of cause and effect. And if we have previously set forth a cause, negative in our thoughts, our feelings, our words and deeds, if we have set that forth, if that is what we have sowed, then the natural laws of cause and effect, the natural laws of sowing and reaping will bring forth, will bring back to us the manifestation of what we sent forth. So we choose. And with all things being what they are in the world every day, we choose consciously to be the best we can, to be the most positive we can, to be the most loving we can, because we understand that our thoughts, our words, our feelings, our actions, our deeds, in whatever quality we send those forth, they will come back to us. And let us not reach for the easy human temptation to declare that the hand of God is punishing me. That's pure nonsense. If there is retribution, it is simply the destruction that human beings send forth. It is their own life acting back upon them. So let us take care, beloved precious hearts. Let us be free of old religious beliefs. Let us free ourselves of doubt and fear. Let us free ourselves of having destructive opinions. Let us free ourselves of judgment and criticism of self and others. Let us free ourselves and create magnificent new sacred open spaces within our life where new revelations of our spiritual power that has too often been latent within us, latent but not lost, that each of us can pursue together. It's a wonderful spiritual path of discovering the truth of our beingness and begin to harness those magnificent spiritual attributes into our lives. Then we are given the means to be the new positive influence, a son's presence of greater light and love and justice and liberty and everything this world needs. Let's begin our process by declaring inwardly and outwardly 3 times a day, I say yes to life. I say yes to the universal consciousness that streams as my consciousness and all the inherent powers within. I say yes to life, all of that. And life says yes to me in all its victory. I am with you. Mother Akasha and I love you. We enfold you. And we are in full dedication to your victory, to your freedom. To each of you, if you so choose to become a divine replication of light, of love, of perfection, in which the creative aspect of your soul, your spirit, will bring that forth in the way that is unique and magnificent for each of you. I love you. I am Papa Asun. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.